Hello everyone, let's go get the maths pupil book, go to page 216, making a whole. So, let's go through it. 2 halves make a whole, so if you have 2 halves of an orange, you make 1 whole orange. So half and half make 1 whole. Okay, so 2 over 2 is the same as 1 whole. Let's look at this. What it means is, if I say 1 half plus 1 half equals, when I add this, if I'm adding halves or quarters or whatever, the 2 is the same. I just add what's up, I don't add what's down. So the 2 is the same, I put it as it is, and 1 plus 1 equals what? 2. Same if I'm doing quarters, just if I say 1 quarter plus 1 quarter, remember the 4 is the same, whatever the number is that's down here is the same. So 1 plus 1 equals 2, so this is 2 quarters. So if I say 1 quarter plus 1 quarter plus, it's not in a straight line, never mind, plus 1 quarter. So we said the 4, or whatever the number is that's down here, all of that, if they are the same number, and for year 2 they'll always be the same number, so don't think about anything different for now. So it will be the same 4, so 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3, so this is 3 quarters, 1, 2, 3. So let's look at the last one. If I get a quarter plus a quarter, it's not clear, okay, plus a quarter plus a quarter. We said the 4 is the same, the number that's down is the same, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 over 4, so 4 quarters, so this equals 1 whole, okay? So as we said here, 2 over 2, or 2 halves, is the same as 1 whole. Here, number 2, 4 quarters make 1 whole. It's the same, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters. So a quarter and a quarter and a quarter and a quarter make 1 whole. So these are 4 quarters as well. So 4 over 4 is the same as 1 whole. Okay. Okay, let's look at the owl here. Stop, think, go. Here are 6 fractions. Quarter, 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 half, half, 3 quarters. Use each fraction once. What fractions make a whole? Let's think of this. If we use each fraction once, which fractions make a whole? We have 3 quarters here, and a half, and a half, and a quarter. Okay, let's do this. Why not? So 3 quarters, so a quarter, and a quarter, and a quarter. Then we have 2 halves, then we have 3 quarters. Half, half, and 3 quarters. It said use it once, so if we use a number, we're going to use it once. Let's use the quarter. 1 over 4 plus what will give us 1 whole? Plus a quarter, it will be 2 quarters, plus a half. They're not the same number down there, so it's a bit tricky. Plus 3 quarters will give us 1 whole. Okay, if we say quarter and a quarter now, we can't use it. It doesn't make sense. We can't use all of the numbers. But if we say quarter and a quarter, that will give us a half, and a half, and a half. Remember, we said 2 quarters equals 1 half. So this is a half, and this is a half. 2 halves will give me a whole. So plus 1/2 will give me a whole. That would mean 1/2 is left here because we use this and we use this. So you can't use them all. So saying what fractions make 1 whole, but it didn't say that. And to be honest, we may not use these. It's better not to use these because we can just use these two, 1/2 and 1/2. So I can say 1/2 plus 1/2. The two is the same. And 1 plus 1 equals 2. So we said 2/2 equals 1 whole. Any number if 4/4 equals 1 whole. Any two numbers that are the same over each other will give me 1 whole. Okay, let's look at page 217. So saying complete, you have here 4 parts. 2 parts out of 4 equal parts are shaded. What more parts have to be shaded to make 1 whole? So I have only 2 shaded. What other parts? What more parts need to be shaded to make 1 whole? Pause the video for a second and think of a number, then play it and see if it's going to be the same. So you need to shade 2 more. If you thought of this, it's right. You need to shade 2 more to make it 1 whole. What of the whole has to be shaded? What does this mean? 2 of the whole has to be shaded, so it's the same. To make it 1 whole is 2. It's a silly sentence, I don't understand why it's here. Okay, number 2, what are the missing fractions? So here 3/4 are shaded, so it's written 3/4. And what make 1 whole? So pause the video and think of the number. Now 3/4 and 1/4 will make 1 whole. Here, think of it, 1/2 and what will make 1 whole. Pause the video first, and think of it. So 1/2 and 1/2 make 1 whole. Here you have 1/4 shaded, so what else do you need to shade to make 1 whole? So you have 1/4, pause the video, think of the number, so it's 1/4 plus 3/4 make 1 whole. Here it's 1/2, so these are halves. Okay, so you have a 1/2 here and a 1/2 here, so 1/2 and what will make 1 whole? It's supposed to be 1/2 and 1/2. The last one, number 3, the shaded part of each rectangle shows 1/2. So if you look here, rectangle A, 1/2 of it is shaded. Rectangle B, 1/2 of it is shaded. Do the shaded parts make 1 whole? Yes or no, and why? This you need to think a bit of the answer. So you have to pause the video, think, and then play it. Now, if you play the video, if you thought of it, they don't make a whole. If you said yes, pause the video and think why is it wrong. If you said no, this shape, if you take this 1/2 on its own and this 1/2 on its own and cut them and put them together, this is so big and this is so small, so they will not make 1 whole shape. Now you're going to go to page 216 and 217 in the book, in the workbook, and you're going to answer. The first one is done for you. Look at this shape. 3/4 are shaded and 1/4 is not. So it's saying A, 3/4 of the whole is shaded, 1/4 of the whole is not shaded. So 3/4 and 1/4 make 1 whole. So you're going to say what is shaded and what is not shaded, and what makes a whole, what's shaded, what's not shaded, and what makes a whole in these 3 shapes. Then next page, 1/2 and what make a whole. So this is 1/2 and what, 1/4 and what makes a whole from this shape. Here write the missing fractions as well. 1/2 and what make 1 whole, 3/4 and what make 1 whole. Then this is a bit of a harder question. It's saying this is a quarter of a picture. Does this and this together make a whole of the picture? Yes or no? You have to think of this. It's a bit tricky. Okay, thank you. And why do you try to write your answer here?